What's up, y'all? Kosher Kush 420, bringing you another meal of the day. We're going to be doing a ground beef burrito. Simple little burrito. I'm going to show you how to make a very bastardized version of Mexican rice. We're going to cook off some ground beef, hit it with my special Kosher Kush 420 taco spice mix. Wrapping it up in a nice flour tortilla with some sour cream, guacamole, and little mixed cheddar cheeses. So first we're going to cut up some tomatoes, some nice beautiful large vine ripened tomatoes. We're going to cut out the core. And we're going to slice those up about 1/4 of an inch thick. This will help to break down faster the smaller we cut them. So you're just going to take a nice stack, cut those into 1/4 inch strips. Essentially a small dice is 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch. So we've got our slices, our strips. Now it's time to make dice. So we cross cut that at 1/4 of an inch. When doing something as unstable as this, sometimes you always want to make sure you're definitely keeping the claw method, which is holding your fingertips behind your front knuckle and using the edge of the blade along your middle finger, most outward sticking finger, along that flat bit from your middle knuckle to your front knuckle. You'll see me use this many times throughout my videos. This ensures that you do not cut your fingertips off. Now when slicing the bell pepper, you're going to see we get to that nice bit of rib part where all of that inside connects. You're going to want to cut that out and then just keep getting your 1/4 inch strips as we dice up our green pepper. So we're going to use our ring finger and our thumb to hold our strips together, our top 2 fingers to hold them tightly, and to guide our knife as we go 1/4 inch cross cut from one end to the other. So next we're going to small dice up an onion. Normally you'll see me sometimes cut the other half or the bottom off the whole thing before I cut it in half. This is actually an easier method. You're going to make sure that you get off into the next good layer of onion. So we're going to peel off that top layer. By leaving the end on the onion, it holds it nice and stable. So we're going to take our 1/4 inch slices around the onion. Try to angle your blade as you go around the curve. And then we're going to cross cut 1/4 inch thick, making our way to the back end of the onion. Wherever you didn't make your cut all the way through, we're just going to slice off the end that we would normally cut away and just finish cutting that. Next we're going to mince up some garlic, which same kind of technique. We're just going to make very thin slices and very thinly slice it from tip to end. It's like a very fine dice. So to make our rice, we're going to heat up our nice pan here with some oil. We're going to start to saute and sweat off our onions. You always want to make sure anytime you put things in the pan, you want to get it moving, get it coated in the oil. Break up all the layers of onions that are stuck together. Then we're going to add in our green peppers. Then we're just going to start to cook and sweat these for about 3 to 4 more minutes until our onions and peppers start to get a little soft and our onions are translucent. Which means they've kind of lost that dull white when they're nice and raw. So once, like I said, those are cooked for about 3 to 4 minutes or so, we're going to add in our minced garlic. And we're going to cook that off for about a minute or two until our garlic becomes nice and aromatic. So always want to keep things moving around, make sure things are getting cooked evenly. Nothing sits too long and burns. Make sure you scrape the sides. Then we're going to add in our tomatoes. We're just going to cook these down until they release all their nice, juicy, delicious tomato liquid. And we're going to start to kind of build a sauce as those tomatoes break down. And I'll kind of show you that in stages here. And we're going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. So our liquid started to come out, our tomatoes have started to break down. Our tomatoes are really starting to break down now, and you're starting to get a lot of that liquid out. We're going to start to concentrate that liquid a little bit more, develop that depth of flavor. And then we're going to start to add in our rice, which we've already cooked in our rice cooker. Like I said earlier, this is kind of a very bastardized version of Mexican rice. If I were to essentially be making real Mexican rice, I would be like frying raw rice grains in oil, getting those nice and crispy, hitting them with some onions and some bell peppers as well, and garlic, and then cooking all that off in a tomato liquid. So, like I said, we're doing a little bit of a bastardized version, but we've got all the essential components there. So we just want to make sure that we mix this in really well, get all of our rice coated in our tomato liquid. Break down any big chunks of rice that might still be there. And start to just kind of cook out some of that extra moisture that might be left behind as well. Without trying to overcook and break down our rice too much. So we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to cook off some ground beef here. We got a nice little good 80-20 blend. which renders out quite a bit of fat. So when you're making this, you do not need to start with a little bit of oil in your pan or anything. You can just throw your meat directly in and you'll be good to go. So you just want to keep breaking that up, make sure that you're cooking it, breaking up any big chunks. You start to see that fat already glistening in the pan. I always recommend 80-20 blend. I like a good amount of fat in my ground beef. So once our beef is all cooked, you can see there's a good amount of fat just kind of boiling away in there. You're going to want to strain that off into some sort of grease catcher that you have. I usually keep some sort of container, a little can of something. So once that's all drained off, we're going to hit it up with our taco spice mix, which is a little bit of chili powder, some cayenne, some smoked paprika. We've got garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of coriander and cumin. We're going to sprinkle that in, mix it around, make sure everything is nice and seasoned well. You guys could use pretty much any kind of protein you want. You want to use grilled chicken in your burrito, you want to use some cut up steak, go for it. It's a burrito. You can put whatever the hell you want to put in there. I'm just showing you what I'm doing right now. So we've got some guacamole, some sour cream, we're going to take our Mexican rice, sprinkle in our little blend cheese. Throw in our nice hot ground beef. The heat between your meat and your rice is how you're gonna make sure you melt your cheese. And when folding your burrito, you see how I tucked in the sides first, and then close the gap and roll it from front to back, making sure that's nice and tight. And there you have a nicely wrapped burrito. Cut that in half. We have our layers of flavor as we bite into it. Hope you guys enjoy.